So what I'm going to go through is I recently got into VHS decode, and I'm going to talk how I got started setting my VHS player from start to finish, basically, just to give people an idea of like what the process is. And this is going to be a pretty low cost version. I recently bought all the stuff to do the higher end, but this is, minus the VHS player, it shouldn't cost more than like 30-40 bucks. All right, so I'm going to start with telling you about the VHS players, what to look for, the capturing device, getting the software set up for a Linux computer, getting the initial command to grab the raw data, converting that into a useful format, and then outputting that into an MP4. All right, so start with hardware. All right, so I have 3 VHS players here. So we have 2 Sonys and a Toshiba. The Toshiba is the cheapest, and this is the more higher end Sony. And when looking for devices, what you want is some easy way to connect to the signals. So we can see here, if I zoom in, you see there's this ground and then this PBRF. And that's your video signal. All right. So we take that RF signal that's generated by this head here, and we output it to this card in the back. And most cables go to this BNC, and I have an adapter to the card reader we have in the back. So this is a BNC, and this is an adapter to kind of like an RCA connector. So basically I have 2 cards. This one also has a connector on it. So you can see here, this guy right here is the connections for this guy down here. So the same ground and PB signals. So these 2 have really easy accessible places to grab the raw signal. And this guy, Toshiba, instead of having connector, it has these like little debug wires basically. So you can take something like, they make BNC clips with these clips on them, and you can just connect right up to them. What we're doing when we're grabbing these raw RF signals is we're actually grabbing it before it's been pre-processed. So before it goes through all this stuff. So this allows us to get a signal. This allows us to have the computer do all the manipulation versus doing it analog. So we can get a much more crisp image that way. So this is our capture device. It's CX ADC. So what an ADC does is it just measures the analog voltage of the device. So the signal comes in here, and it gets captured by this device, sends it over PCI, and this is a raw capture device. So it's just capturing the raw signals and then sending it to your computer. There are a few modifications. We have a heatsink. There's a cap that gets removed over here. And a few other modifications that most people make is they change the clock here from 28 to 40 megahertz. And most people remove this RCA jack and put a BNC because that's what most of the cables use. I haven't got around to buying one of those jacks, so I just have an adapter from BNC to RCA. So that's not the only style of capture device, but it is the most affordable at the start and has the most features later down the line, the most kind of add-ons. So if you go to the different kinds of capture devices, there's a whole array of different kinds of capture devices with different iterations. And another popular one is called the Doomsday Duplicator, which was featured on Short Circuit, and that's how I started getting into this. As in, I saw this and I started going down the rabbit hole, but I went with the CX80C, because what you can do is you can take 2 of these cards and then you can record not only video but audio and then have them sync together. And it's fairly easy accessible. These cards cost like $30, while the FPGA and the daughter board and all that stuff cost a few $100s. So it's a lot cheaper to get started, as long as you have a PC, because this is PCI versus USB. Okay, so now we talked about ADCs, so let's talk about how to actually get running. Basically what you're going to want to do is download this repo and put it in a folder called decode. So this decode is where all of the magic's going to happen. So if you download the XC80C Linux stuff, you can put it here. So inside this repo you'll find not only a few programs you need, but this is the actual literal drivers that you need to build. So if we go in here, we go to decode, we'll go into the CX80C and do a sudo make-j install. This will install the build into your program. Once you do a restart, go into your devs, do -ls, we should see the CX80C0. If you have more than one card, you'll see this 1, 2. Alright, cool. So we have access to the ADC and we can grab the data from the ADC. One more thing we have to do, we'll make another window. We'll increase the text of this a little bit. Okay, we go here. We also need to get these TBC tools. So you can download not only this, which is going to create the tar folder, you also need this app image. So you're going to take all that stuff and put it inside your deb folder, or your TBC tools. So you're going to see this VHS decode, which needs to go in this directory, and then this TBC tools, which is all this stuff in here. There's one more tool that you're going to need, this TC export download. So you can just download the image, app image, also stick it inside this directory, TBC export. So now we got all our tools in there. One last thing that makes life a lot easier, if you go into your .bash rc, or nano into bash rc, go all the way down to the bottom, add this path folder basically, so then we can access all those app images from the terminal directly. Alright, so now you should have all the tools you need, so we can actually start recording. So let's go into the recording section. We're going to go to the new captures. So let's go back to my cheat sheet. So we have well, first we need to do one thing, which is start my VHS player. And run this as sudo. You can change your udev rules to make this work, but I have not. So the application is in CX80C. So we do sudo levels adjust Okay. Looking good. These numbers are quite far apart, which means that it's not just some random noise, which is good. Okay. So then we have two ways we can get the output. But basically they're both involved just CADing the ADC into a file. So we can try this. Once again, sudo. So you can see this slowly going up every second. And you can see that the size is quite large. You can see within 10 seconds we've got half a gig. So roughly every 1 minute you're going to be around 2 gigs. So we're going to stop that. And you can stop that with Control C. So then we're going to do the second one, just for examples. We'll call this file name. Yeah, file name black. Basically here we're just saying we want the output to be FLAC encoded, and this is lossless encoding, so we're really just saving space. Once again, you gotta get that sudo. Okay, cool. So then we hit Control C. This one doesn't have the nice little counter, but you do have less file size. So we can go here, go into recordings. Alright. So you can see quite a big difference in size. This one's, we didn't record this one probably as long, but it's quite smaller. Alright. So now we have to actually convert these. So we're going to grab this. Now this process takes quite a bit of time. So FLAC, file name FLAC. Sweet. So what this is doing is it's taking this raw ADC value and it's putting it, it's formatting it into a format that is it's formatted into a lossless video format basically. So once it's just raw data, now it's structured into a format that is frame based. And we can see the files frame happening over here. So it's just counting them up, and it's going to take a long time. I haven't figured out, the thread doesn't seem to do all that much. So I get around like 4 frames a second. So it's quite, the decoding will take longer than the actual recording. But that's fine. So if this does not work, you'll see this will be like out of sync, out of frame, and all that stuff. So I'm gonna let this be, and we'll come back when it's done. So now I'm gonna start a new thing. We can go to the application to view it. I don't remember all the names of these, but you can always just go back here and run them. So this is a viewer / analyzer. So we can go to our capture and we can see source. So this is exactly what you will see when it's outputted into an MP4. It's a little garbage on the bottom, but overall you can see that the sharpness is pretty good for a VHS. So what we can do is we can see, one cool thing to do is you go to the black signal to noise ratio. So this is basically saying like how much noise is just happening in the background. So you want this to be higher is better. So the higher signal to noise ratio, the more clean the image is. So we can see this, this is fairly good. I had a few problems with a previous capture. So here we go, where you could see, let's see, split the frame view. We could see that one of the captures is good and one of them bad. So on a VHS player, there is two heads capturing for the most part. So we have one that was capturing very clear and one that was having a ton of noise on it. And you can see that we're going 2 frames at a time. And we can see that, you know, one is always noisy up here. And noise being just this random like garbage that is through the entire image. So, and one that's completely clear. So your end image will basically be a mixture of these two, so your image will look very garbage. And this was caused by a bad cable, basically. So this noise was caused by a bad cable. I have that same bad cable was captured here. And can you see just the extreme amount of noise coming off? So our goal with all our improvements is to reduce the noise, basically. That's the entire goal. So we can reduce the noise by having better cables, better connection with the board. You can also get an amplifier. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. So I didn't talk about this, but you can get an external amplifier, one of these. So then there's an internal gain on the ADC, but it's not that great. So you can add an external one. So then the onboard one doesn't work, and that will increase the noise to signal to noise ratio. But yeah, so that's what noise looks like. But our image looked fairly fine. I think it's quite acceptable. If we go here, I would say anything above like the 30, that's what people say. Anything above the 30 is like considered fairly reasonable. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to output this. So, alright, so now we go here. Let's go back to our recording. Oh, we got it over here. Alright. So we want to use our TBC file. That's what it's generated. That's what the what did I call? Let's make sure. My recording. Yep, okay. So now we're going to be able to basically use FFmpeg to output, mix these together, and get a proper video. Alright. So there's still more things you can do outside of this to make it more clear, but they're more on the post-processing side. And you can see that I'm now also gathering audio with this. So normally what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a USB RCA audio capturing for my home video collection. So I'm not too worried about the audio signal, at least for my initial few runs. But there's probably, you can see the interlacing basically. So there's more post-processing you can do to remove all that stuff, which most likely I'm gonna have to figure out. But at this moment, you've got a pretty good base on how to capture things. So hopefully that was helpful. And I'll have a link to this little README in the description below.